Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this guy I used to know named Georgie. Georgie Borriello. For those of you who don't know, he's the younger brother of that girl, Christina Borriello, who I told the story about, Christina and her crazy ass drunk grandpa. And Christina also had a brother Raymond and a sister Margaret, so there's four of them total. And I met Georgie when I was around fifth grade, sixth grade, and he's my friend James Reichert's cousin. So the three of us all became friends and started chilling. And I liked Georgie. I thought he was a cool kid. I never had any problems with him. He's a fucking dumbass. I mean, the guy was street smart, but he wasn't book smart at all. I mean, I don't think he ever read a book in his whole life. But whatever, we were cool. This was until the day in the fall of 1995 where my cousin Lauren and her family, the Marcuses, my cousins from Worcester, Massachusetts, came to Long Island to visit. And somehow Georgie comes over the house, and me, him, and Lauren are all hanging out, just going for a walk in the neighborhood. And we thought it would be funny to just take off and ditch her, right? Even though Lauren was about a block and a half from our house, and she'd been in our neighborhood a million fucking times, this girl was the opposite of Georgie, the polar opposite. She was super book smart. She graduated with honors from NYU. She's a pharmacist making like 150 grand a year. Really, really smart, but totally street stupid. Like, this is the type of person that will get lost 3 blocks from their own house. Yeah. And, we took off and left her. And we figure, okay, she's right behind us, right? Yeah, she'll catch up in a minute. And we get back to my house, and my mom goes, "Where's Lauren?" Say, "Oh, she's coming." Okay. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes go by. She's not there. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now my mom and cousin Judy, her mom, are freaking out. Like, oh my God, where is she? Oh my God, where is Lauren? Oh my God. And another 15, 20 minutes, now it's going into like fucking missing person, right? Missing child. And, we're only 11, 12 years old at the time. So they're just freaking the fuck out. And, my mom's yelling at me, like, how can you do this? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what did I do? She was right on Sarah Drive, which is the cross street to our street. She's like a block away. How the fuck could she get lost? Where could she be? Didn't stop them from panicking. Then my dad comes home, and I guess he was already having a bad day. Now, mind you, my dad's only hit me maybe 3 times in my entire life, and never in the face. My mom's never hit me, barely even spanked me as a kid. They're not hitters at all. But this one day, my dad comes home, he finds out about this shit with Lauren, and just goes completely psycho on me, right? He orders me to go to my room, and then a few minutes later, the door bursts open, and he comes flying into my room. He like slams me against the wall and starts fucking hitting me. Again, just in like the side or whatever, body shots. He goes, "How could you do that, David? How could you do that to Lauren? She could have got raped. She could have got killed. What were you thinking?" Yeah. Yeah, and finally, after like an hour and a half, they drove around in the car and they found her like a mile away from the house. She went completely in the wrong direction. Yeah, and after that, my parents forbade me from ever speaking to Georgie again, as if it was his fault that my cousin was a fucking retard. And I guess the ban worked. It was effective because I didn't see him again for 9 years until 2004. I hung out with James a couple times, and then I get reacquainted with Georgie. And like before, he was cool. I had no problems with him. I liked chilling with him. And we had good times. And at this point, I'm friends with Rachel. So it's me, Rachel, Christina, and Georgie. We basically became a foursome. We chilled together on a regular basis. sometimes every single day, all four of us. And again, like always, it was good most of the time. Now, mind you, Georgie and Christina fucking hated each other. Usually, I don't know how this foursome was able to function without them killing each other all the time. But I guess for the sake of me and Rachel, they just bared it and got along. Like, what I'm about to tell you would freak two normal brothers and sisters out. But what is Georgie and Christina? Forget it. Okay, we're in a Verizon store once. And Christina went there to take care of something with her phone. And Georgie's in there too. And they're standing next to each other at the counter. And the fucking guy in the Verizon store looks at Christina, looks at Georgie, goes, "Hey, was that your boyfriend?" And they both simultaneously went, "No! Ew! What the fuck? No! That's my fucking sister, bro! What the fuck?" Like Christina's like, "That's my brother! Yeah!" They both look like they were just gonna have a heart attack and die right in the store. It's priceless. If looks could kill. And I remember this other time, Georgie happens to be. This guy was one of the strongest kids I ever met in my life. I mean, he was strong as a fucking ox. And even though he only weighed maybe 160, 165, he's about 5'9", you would think he was over 200 pounds. 250, like how strong he was. One day I get the bright idea to sumo wrestle him. We were on the soccer field at Otsego Elementary School. This is me, him, and Rachel. And sumo wrestling, I mean, just see if you could shove the other person backwards. Further than they could shove you, that's all. I don't know why I thought I was going to be able to. I have no idea. But this guy manhandled me like I'd never been manhandled in my entire life. Not by someone who weighed 160 pounds. Holy shit. This guy not only shoved me backwards about 50 yards down the field in about 12 seconds, but he literally lifted me off my feet as he's shoving me backwards. I'd never been manhandled like that. And I felt like such a pussy. I went to the gym and signed up the next day and started lifting weights. I'm like, this is unacceptable. I cannot be this weak. And no one else can be that strong. No way. And this guy also punched harder than anyone I've ever seen in my life, basically. Definitely for that size. Me, him, and his older brother Raymond are chilling at my mom's house. We're in the basement. And we decided to give Raymond weed and smoke him up, right? And Raymond hadn't smoked weed in years, and he was on a lot of medication. He's having all these medical problems, mental problems and shit. And me and Georgie are like, "Bro, Raymond's gonna get so fucking high. Holy shit, bro." And he got about as stoned as I'd ever seen anyone get in my life. This guy's just laughing and rolling around on the floor and saying all this dumb random shit and made no sense for just hours on end. And we're all laughing, and it was just a really good time that day. And at a certain point, I had this box with boxes in it. You know when you buy boxes for moving, and you got the other boxes folded up inside the one outside box. And there's 9, 10 folded boxes inside. And Georgie decided to punch it to show us how hard he could hit. And this motherfucker dented almost all the way through to the other side. This guy managed to put his knuckle marks in 9 or 10 boxes in a row. And I'm like, holy shit, that is fucking scary. Please don't ever hit me. Please don't. And like I said, him and Christina just fucking hated each other. And this one time, they got in a fight. Well, I wouldn't call it a fight. It was more like Georgie picking up Christina, fucking shoulder pressing, suplexing her all the way over his head, and then slamming her down on the hood of my car so hard she bounced off and landed on the street. And if you heard my other story, Christina was kind of dykey and manly. You know, she looked like a dyke in a man no matter how much makeup she wore, whatever she did, it didn't matter. She still looked manly. Heard all the manly jokes her whole life, whatever. And when he slams Christina on my car hood, Rachel's there, and Rachel goes, Georgie, you can't hit girls, Georgie. And he looks at Rachel and goes, she ain't no girl. She's a fucking man. Get a fucking man if I want. And I'm just standing there dying. Like, he was always a funny guy. And, oh, man. Fucking man. But, yeah. This whole thing with the four of us ended up lasting about, let's see, year and change. And Georgie was always cool. We never had any issues with him until this one day where he decides to start being an asshole for no reason. We're all walking in Otsego Park. Mind you, this is a nice day, spring day. There's families out, moms with kids, baby strollers and shit. And we're literally walking next to this mom pushing a baby carriage with like two little kids walking beside her. And he just takes a blunt out of his pocket and fucking lights it and starts smoking it. And the lady's looking at him, just glaring at him like, what the fuck are you doing? I got my kids here. Are you crazy? Why are you smoking weed, dude? And me and Rachel and Christina are looking at him like, Georgie, what the fuck are you doing? You want to get us fucking arrested? I got weed on me. And you want them to call the cops? And this is like 2005. You still go to jail for a little bag of weed. But we let it go in the end. We figure, okay, he's having a bad day. It's one time. And then less than a week later, same exact place, Otsego Park, kids, parents, babies around. And he pulls out a blunt again and lights it. And all the people are staring at him, staring at us like we're the world's biggest assholes. You know, like we're the degenerates of society. And we're like, what the fuck, Georgie? We just went through this again? Are you just trying to be an asshole? Are you trying to get us not to chill with you anymore? And after that, we were like, you know what? Fuck this. This isn't even worth it anymore. If he's going to be this fucking disrespectful to us and to other people, fuck him. So we just stopped chilling with him, and that was it. I never saw the guy ever again. So I haven't seen him in about 15 years now. And he's still a shitbag, still a loser, still getting arrested, adding to his criminal record. He just got some charge recently. I don't know what it was. I forgot. But yeah, that is the story of Georgie, the great Georgie Borriello. What a guy. What a fucking guy.